InShalla and Ashe, blessings to you, my energetic beings. It is 2022, January 14th, and today really is an otherworldly day. It's the day my mother transcended into the other world. So I think it's going to be an otherworldly kind of day anyway. But we are stepping onto stones that we might not have ever noticed before. And I can honestly say that my snippet might not be at 10 a.m. daily anymore. Part of it is just going with the flow of it, right? It's kind of like Dory and Finding Nemo. So I sense this year is going to be a little bit like that for everybody. So as we open the door to an ascension or a place to ascend that we thought we might not have ever been, or an ancestor. So I myself was up most of the night last night with my ancestors, and also my mentor and friend, Maladoma, came in. So I mean, for me, it's very real. It's a very real thread-like for me, or a thread line. So if you are having insights that are otherworldly and you're not sure where they are coming from, that too is a message to an answer from a call through the other world, whatever that is for you. You know, we are all magical in our essence and have a core prime directive, and feeding and nurturing the core. And also, I would just want to say that that in the shadow is actually the essence of our greatest light. In the deepest, darkest corners is where our light shines the brightest. It's where our super juice really is, at least in my opinion. And if you have yet to join me for my Musing Moon meditation, simply subscribe. Love and live by the moon. That's my thing. Living and loving by the moon. And I do these meditations as a gift to just for being part of my tribe. It's like blessings to you for subscribing. It's greatly appreciated. But welcome to today's daily snippet. I finally got on at the 11:11. I am your host, a practicing holistic Sha'medium and a subtle energetic surgeon. My thing is to merge the indigenous technologies with the subtle energies, the elements, the elemental beings, and really so much more. But my intention really is the combination of the indigenous with the subtle realms, to assist us into navigating our prime directive and just reintroducing us to and through the being that really resides within us. My name is Tonya D, and welcome to my virtual medicine room. If you're interested in a card for today, simply like, comment, and share the show. Really helping me also helps you as well. But the cards of today, I went with my Shaman Oracle deck. I love this deck, actually. It just felt otherworldly this morning. And also, since Maladoma was actually in my thread lines, I really felt called to utilize this otherworldly juice. And as a gift to those of you that chatted in the comments, shared or liked, I actually have a card for you today. But first up, this is called the staff. And the staff is a symbol of authority. It kind of reminds me of, I think Lord of the Rings, when he has his staff, the wizard, or even Harry Potter, just holds all this power, and the power holds, has a temper, like it's balanced to both extremes. And it really assists us to find the right course of action, the way in the middle way, the middle ground. And it also assists us to maintain our balance after we begin walking in whatever direction we choose. It's kind of like our own personal physical walking stick, but it's otherworldly. And even Moses carried a serpent staff through the desert, and with it, he could summon the power of nature to heal or call in other adversities, I would say, possibly plagues. There's a question mark there, right? But it's here to remind us of the importance of all the things, and that's our authority. Our inner authority must come from our deeper longing to be of service. Being that it is otherworldly today, meaning it's upside down or reversed, it's like we're caught in a delicate balance between opposing forces, the masculine, the feminine, the yin, the yang, the fires or the waters, between action or non-action. Using this to our advantage, there's no day without the night, and there's no low without a high, and there's no right without a wrong, and vice versa. So this is a time to really take corrective action, beginning with our beliefs about what needs to be fixed or repaired, and really allowing destiny to take its course, kind of nudging us slightly or slowly along in those forces of adversities, or no forces of adversity at all. And then we have flow, and flow is being literally in it. It's a message of water, really, knowing that there is a natural movement to the flow of the world, the events in the world, and that we can see it in different kinds of aspects or phenomenons like the tides of the ocean and the ebbs and the flows of the waters and the rivers that kind of rise up from the earth, and everything basically gradually over time and space flows out to the sea. But the symbol of flow is kind of a representation of being effortless, being natural in our movements, and we're just knowing we're going towards that certain destination. And it kind of is a symbol of the ability to just gracefully move around those obstacles and reminding us of the sense of just allowing. But it too is otherworldly. So it's like a salmon that is pushing against the river to go upstream. So we don't want to try to push it or swim up the stream. We just want to trust that the time is right. So our dreams will kind of begin to take shape and get into the flow. So we're kind of being invited to dance with our own personal destiny right now. However, we must relax. So it's not a time to bang on the doors that refuse to open. Whatever obstacle is in front of you at the moment, just trust that it's for your highest good. Maybe it's an opportunity to kind of recalibrate or regroup and reconsider our choices. And also, trust that our intentions will actually take form in galactic time, in their own time and space, and really consider time as a gift, which it really is. We don't realize it as something that can never be bought or be brought back either, time, Father Time, but flow and time to go with the flow. That's the energy of water, to go with the flow. Then we have the sweat lodge. Have you done a sweat lodge lately, or have you ever done one? I really haven't had a good sweat since probably the experience started, but there are other ways to sweat, right? So the sweat lodge itself represents the womb of the mother, and it's an offering of blessing cedar or sweetgrass, sometimes both, really. There's some volcanic stones, like lava stones. They're heated up in a fire outside. Then they're brought in the lodge into the center of the lodge. There's kind of like a shallow hole that they're placed in. And you sit in complete darkness around these red hot stones to disrupt and sweat away old habits or beliefs, heal from discomfort or disease, and really so much more. So when we return, humbly and hopefully humbly to the world of the mother, we are then offered second chances or different perspectives. So this is just kind of saying that it's really a time to journey inward into the dark and the hidden places of our soul, to reconnect with the ancient earth wisdom or just ancient wisdom in general. And we could also create a sacred and intimate space in the dark by just lighting a candle as well. Preferably for me, I usually use a red one, just depending on who's streaming in, and just observe what emerges without judging it, and invite it really in to bring you its gifts. So we're kind of being offered an opportunity to share and to heal from the aspects of our life that we have literally really outgrown. But just don't worry that you will be consumed by the process either. It's actually very relaxing, just kind of sweating it all out. Now for some bonus cards. The first card I have here, Amber. Amber, if you're listening, if you're tuning in, I have the Beauty Way. So the Beauty Way is both a path that you travel on and also a daily practice. It's a path where we choose to perceive only the beauty before us, behind us, and also all around us as we take this journey through the earth plane. So the practice is where we take action to bring beauty to every situation actually that we're in as well, especially if things kind of get ugly. We act to bring integrity and peace to the difficult encounters. So peace is getting into the flows of that as well. So when everyone else perceives only darkness, you get to point out the light and assist to uncover those hidden treasures. So this is kind of an invitation for you to kind of create beauty in your life, but also to recognize the beauty that you also have inside of yourself and those around you as well. Just literally stopping and smelling the roses, taking that deep breath, looking up at the stars and looking out at them as well, and just recognizing the majestic magnetic splendor that actually surrounds you. So every situation that you find yourself in, you're going to receive a different lesson that life is kind of nudging you towards and teaching you in a more kind and also a gentle way. That's the aspect there. Then we have Sarah. Thanks for tuning in. I checked you out yesterday. And you got the lower world, which really is otherworldly, meaning reversed, upside down. It's all perspective, really, though, right? But the lower world holds a lot of treasures for humanity in general. It really is a place of rich and fruitful darkness, where we can find those disowned aspects and parts of ourselves, disassociated parts, even those abandoned ones, abandoned aspects of our psyches. So the lower world is a place also of our ancestors where we kind of discover the gifts and the lessons from the past. It's the realm of the collective unconscious in a way. And this is where we can meet our demons and we can transfer them into pure potential energy, or a source of personal power. So you want to ask yourself, are you one of those people who don't like to face the past or mirror the past, right? And now your past is calling to be kind of acknowledged, to be heard, and also to be embraced. Give it a hug. And the only way to really become unstuck is really to honor everything that has transpired in your life and really reflect like that mirror on the lessons learned. I look at it as the etheric mirror, and move on. This is where you bear witness to your past and you learn those lessons, the ones that you want to stop haunting you, really. And as we embrace our gifts, we recover a missing part of our soul, which, knowing that you just had a divination, and also I know you've done your prescriptions, I sense that this message is also to send you blessings as well for doing a great job. So Ashe for you. And then we have Heidi, if you're listening. For you, I pulled the card Many Paths. Many paths, but all the paths lead to spirit. And what you bring to your journey is what will determine if yours is a path of suffering, a path of wisdom, even a path of bliss, or it could be a path of loss. So just consider the traveler that met two stone masons. He asked one what he was doing, and the mason replied, I'm squaring out this stone. And the second mason he asked, he was doing the same thing. He says, I am building a cathedral. So one man has a job and the other man has found his calling. So he is part of this endeavor that is much grander and larger than himself. So be sure to pick the path with a heart. The message is one that you have outgrown your path, your current situation, and you kind of risk in a way losing your way in your own backyard, your own village. So you're kind of being called to step out and off your comfort zone. So it's kind of the call to respond is kind of now. And also it's going to come in as a still, gentle whisper. Even though the forest looks thick and impossible to penetrate, kind of venture in and allow nature to be your guide, guiding your steps through the dark until you reach your destination. And just remember, if you do not know where you are going, any path is actually going to take you there. So yeah, those were some interesting cards today. The staff, flow, sweat lodge. And just kind of see into the cards I spoke to for you and kind of feel into those treasures. Like I said, this is my favorite deck anyway. It is what it is, right? And then on the elemental realm, oh, look at that. We have totally a yin day all around. We have a Yin Fire Rabbit day, but there's yin in all the stems and all the branches, except the hour, which I don't bring in. So the hour could actually shift things a little bit, but it is a very yin day on the month, the year, and the stems. So it's like going inward to reflect. Yin fire is actually warming fire, like the sweat lodge. It can be warming or it can be overkill to the fire element itself. But fire doesn't really have any hidden elements, at least today, to ground into. So it's like spirit is lost out in space, floating around the realms, not even grounding into this dimension. So it's like focusing on your feelings and where do you belong, feelings being water, and where do they not belong? And the rabbit is support to the fire, and it's a nice support. It's like kindling versus a big log, because our fire is yin, so it's just a nice warming fire. It's not a raging one. But we have a lot of metal energy both on the stems and hidden in the branches. And metal is decision making. And we are in the season of Capricorn, which is decision time in itself. It's commitment time as well. But we also have the full moon cascading into the horizon as well. So fire energy is warming, it's clarifying, it's comforting. Or really, at the very least, this one is, but the Yang fire, which is its counterpart, is the fire that destroys and burns, that can rage out of control. But Yin fire brings to light and illuminates situations instead of creating those explosive actions. And fire people in general, they're leaders, they're highly motivated, they're take charge kind of energies, highly charismatic, passionate, very driven. So you yourself might find those aspects happening for you today. If you have nothing going on, you might ignite a spark to create something, becoming inspirited or inspired through the emotional field where we get those feelings like the hiccup in the wave. That's kind of how I see them. But going on an adventure, looking for something new. And fire can change. Fire and change really are a theme for people with excess fire. So raise your hand if you're like me and you have way too much fire in your chart. And I use water as an elemental to ground myself. I surround myself with water. Yeah, I have 0 water in my chart. So I really use it as a gift for me to get into my flow and utilize the aspects of water to balance me out. But the nature or the branch that is supporting our day, fire, the rabbit, you know, my neighbor has all kinds of rabbits and they keep creating more rabbits. So there's lots of fire there in that pen. But this is the energy of always being light on your feet, being able to land on your feet. So as a rabbit, you wouldn't think any of them have issues with self-esteem. But if you were to ask them, they actually do. But they don't appear to be rushing around trying to get out into the public, being on the scene, the societies, you know, on TV, I guess, or even a live show. But it's because it comes to them naturally, simply because of their energetic presence and their auric field. I actually had a crazy dream about the aura and then the dimensions outside the aura, but that was otherworldly. But really, this energy is all about creating sacred space today, knowing that we are part of the galactic ocean and those threads, a drop of water, and also knowing that we are our own sacred space with also, we all have our magical, mystical, divinely otherworldly talents that we get to express during our time on the earth plane. So this time to express is actually this whole year. I'm going to get into that a little bit, but it's like we're being granted a wish or a gift if we can really open up our heart to receive the juice from the sacred heart, the galactic core. So it's about excitement and knowing that otherworldly insights can also be created. So today being that very, very yin day, a day to have both receiving energy, creative energy. So when we are at peace on the inside, the calm, the resting is actually easy peasy. And creation, the station of creation, just flows. So it's like opening up to consciousness that is possibly a little bit airy or a little otherworldly. It generally feels a little different if you're not used to it. It might freak you out. But it's like floating in an effervescent rainbow of sorts, where these past threads might start bubbling up, usually trying to disrupt our peace, the heavier things, you know, things like fear, grief, loneliness, sadness, etc. So being in the higher octaves, being in harmony, utilizing our soul's harmonic, the sound of our personal root intentions, our root centered. But, you know, we can restore within ourselves and start a new view, a new you, from knowing that we are already whole, we are already in form, we are energy to matter taking form, with obviously a few energetic hiccups, but we can open up the galactic juice, to receive messages that are really otherworldly. This is clairaudience. Clairaudience actually might come in today for you, or signs, just really releasing and forgiving and feelings that come up today. You know, make friends with them. And it's the heart, it's the high heart. You're welcome. It's the high heart is online. So our high heart needs her own restorative moment in the higher heart. The heart has different chambers as well. So it's getting into our own personal resonance field, which is laughter, joy, peace. I always go for peace, bliss, just restoring our heart, those joy molecules. So when the heart is in its light, in its resonance, in its flow, it's easier for us to physically be in the flow, embodied. So things that are not in alignment with our heart are literally going to be what I would call disenfranchised or disrupted, not in the flow, dammed up. So the disturbance really hits the center of our heart like a beacon. So It's easier to move and gravitate through life when we are in alignment with our heart's truest intentions, when we're honoring our truest wishes. That was a tongue twister. But, they have to be delicious. They have to light us up. And peace itself is actually warm. It's juicy. It's kind of a blend of all the elementals in the higher octaves, just kind of looking into future paths or future plans. You could have skipped a heartbeat on the imaginational line because our imagination is online. So it's this imaginal realm that is online. So it's like accepting what is and accepting what isn't, and staying in the channel of peace the entire time while we're in this observation station, seeing through our heart and see what we can open up to. So it's this opening and this receiving that we kind of have a hard time doing. And the gifting isn't a gift, really, if it comes with a clause either, right? It's like somebody gives you a gift, but there's some kind of control factor over it. I gave you that, so it's not a gift if it comes at a cost, right? No matter what the path is that we decide or what we take, our heart and our feelings are our investigators of these options that we have in front of us. So when we start to become closer to those threads, we have options that start life transformations. And part of this is Pluto. Pluto is transforming a lot of things. So we even have some ingredients that are shifting in that control space, that control panel. So anything that your heart resists is actually a warning signal. You're going to feel that, and this really is a time to add more love to our lives. I always say, love yourself first, and we can share that love to the outer realms and rims. So feelings will be the sound of love. It's our own soul's harmonic. And when we feel inside of our heart, so just truly be heartfelt and bring out your inner essence, the child inside of you. That's where this creative, artistic, joyful play kind of is that inner child that needs to play and flow through the path to a new heartbeat with your peace and also your soul's harmonics, and feel into all the things and feel if they are fair, if they're aligned, if they're balanced, if they bring you harmony, right? Balance in the harmony. You don't have to play on the thread lines, really, right? So now for fun, this I tried to do it yesterday actually, but I couldn't find the info I wanted. But rosemary is the herb of the day. It's kind of this really juicy aromatic scent. It just grows. I was in Las Vegas, and it grows all over in the cities. I don't know if I saw it on the Strip because I didn't go to the Strip. However, it always looks and smells yummy. It's magical. It creates, whether you're making a dish, you're doing an offering, it's just fun and unique. And most of the time it's just around the season of Christmas for wreaths and whatnot, but I think it's juicy all year long. But if you follow the meaning of flowers, rosemary signifies love and remembrance, making it kind of that great holiday gift. But I think to carry it throughout the year is actually an idea as well. It needs really to get enough water. I had one actually at my front door, and of course it was a fail, but I am going to try again. But I didn't know they really need a lot of water because the soil dries out really fast. So it's kind of this pollinator kind of plant. It attracts butterflies and bumblebees or honeybees. And it has a few pesty problems, I think, but it can tolerate some of them, and even the drought conditions. I thought that was interesting. It needs a lot of water. Mine went to the other side, and Vegas is kind of a droughted city. So I think that was curious, but it's also a great companion with sage. So that's kind of fun. We could make some sage and rosemary bundles. But it actually means dew of the sea. That's why I picked this image, because it's watered by the ocean mists in the native Mediterranean. So I thought that was curious. And on the other hand, the meaning also, it might refer to the shimmering blue flowers that actually cover the rosemary bush in midwinter as well. So there's just a variety of uses for rosemary, seasoning for all kinds of dishes. Another fun thing, or if you've done this, you can use the stems if they're hardy, the hardy wood stems of rosemary as skewers in the summer if you're a barbecuer. Or just, like I did, I created a burning bundle with it as well. It's out drying in the garage, so that was super exciting. But our throat center is online, so it's the blue of the sky, the majestic sky, really any color that brings you peace. but I would even do like the sound of silence, the color of blue shining through the clouds, the effervescent blues, the lighter octaves. Deep blues are more foundational with matter, earth energy. So it's energy to matter. And the moon herself is in the higher degrees of Gemini. So our day-to-day thoughts and our feelings are really threading in our day-to-day. So I would go with the sound of fire, the heat, and the ha of the voice. So you ha, and you can feel the heat come out. Or the sound of wood, the shishing or the swishing. And just ground elementally into either of those elements, the spirit of fire or the spirit of nature, or both. And utilize the throat sound of the throat, the hymn for the throat to come online. I have all these in the show notes, by the way. And meditate with a candle if you want, or even a tree, really, or a plant even. And Mercury, the galactic juice that travels everywhere, is going retrograde as well. So our thoughts are being rethunk. So for sure, stay curious, because Mercury is going from Aquarius back into Capricorn. So it's almost like it's kind of going downhill. But we have an opportunity to open doors when it comes to the galactic core of humanity, the globe. So I would say be magical and just tune into those insights. And also Pluto, you know, Pluto, love into those insights. Pluto's going to be tearing down some stuff to a place of rebuilding. So the juice is coming on, peeps. So be in a state of grace today. Feel into your heart channel. Get some clear channeling of where you belong and where you don't belong. Loving yourself at the same time, while just accepting who you are and what really you're also capable of. Flowing with those streams, and just know that you are creating with Co-Creator the life that you deserve, your prime directive, and more importantly, the life that your heart desires. So with all of that, that was super juicy. I would affirm that I am in the flow with Creator, creating the life my heart desires. And just kind of, I mean, we're going to have some energetic hiccups this year. So just stay in the flow, be in the peace channel. And as always, I will see you on the other side. Possibly not tomorrow, though. I'm starting Voices of the Other World in the container. Super juicy. Thanks for tuning in.